How economically relevant is South Africa globally? Does this country have the strength and capabilities to really serve local and international businesses? South Africa is sitting with a triple threat. The majority of its youth are unemployed, there's a lack of digitalisation, and the economy is struggling. Well, we explore the various avenues of opportunity with Reshni Singh. Now, she's the CEO of a Business Process Enabling South Africa, or BPESA. It serves as the industry body and trade association for global business services in South Africa on both international and domestic markets. Reshni, a good morning to you, and thank you so much for giving us your time. I think firstly, introduce us to BPESA, the work that you do, and I also don't want to take it for granted that people actually understand what global services, global business services actually are, and what the market is looking like in South Africa.
Good morning, and good morning to the viewers. So BPESA is the National Industry Association for the Global Business Services sector. The Global Business Services sector is a sector that focuses on all IT-enabled services that can be outsourced. And specifically in South Africa, we started to service the offshore market from around the early 2000s. And today we have just over 100,000 jobs in South Africa that services major global brands across the globe. Predominantly, though, it's the US, the UK, and the Australian markets. And this is, it's a combination of what we call business process outsourcing, which is your voice activities such as contact centers. Then we look at professional services, IT services, legal process services, etc. And it is a sector that predominantly focuses on creating opportunities for the youth in our country.
Yeah, it's interesting that South Africa is becoming such a big role player then in the sector that obviously, as the world goes digital, is a sector that can continuously grow. But talk to me about what the numbers can look like in terms of creating opportunities, particularly for young people, when we look at what contact centers are able to do.
So in November 2021, there was a GBS master plan that was co-created between government and industry and signed off by the Department of Trade, Industry and Competition, as well as BPESA and other stakeholders, which focuses on creating 500,000 jobs by 2030. So out of that 500,000 jobs, at least 80% will be targeted at youth, with a special focus on excluded youth. So looking at youth from marginalized communities that have never had opportunities to be able to access these type of roles. There's a target that we actually bring them into the industry.
Yeah. What is it exactly about South Africa's market that is looking more and more attractive? I know that countries that previously would have been massive competition for us would have been the likes of India, for instance, right? What is it about the South African GBS market that seems to be growing?
So I think it's the people, and I think COVID has done us a great favor, because I think it was one of the areas of the economy that was able to continue providing services to the offshore market. It was the people, in terms of our empathy, our resilience, our agility to be able to deliver and be able to address the needs and the demand from the international community. South Africa was also seen as a de-risking strategy for many that had call centers that were concentrated in those markets such as India and Philippines, and where the sector was not seen as essential. South Africa had designated the GBS sector as an essential service sector because of the fact that we do service essential services across the globe.
Right.
So I think it's definitely the ability of our people to deliver.
Well, we need to hear about more opportunities, because there certainly is a big gap here in the country. From the 8th to the 10th of November, you're meeting with local stakeholders, some global investors. What is it, the GBS Investor Conference?
Yes, I'm actually speaking to you from the conference. We just opened the conference this morning at 9 o'clock, and it is a culmination of all of the work that's been achieved over the past 3 years. The last conference took place in 2019, and we're actually having an in-person conference. We have a number of investors that have flown in from various parts across the globe to join us, and we have all of our domestic stakeholders, global business service operators that are based in various different locations and also actually based in South Africa. This event is taking place in KwaZulu-Natal, actually in Umhlanga, and we have such a phenomenal turnout, and there's a lot of commitment from our international investors that are looking to further grow the sector in South Africa. Yeah. So we have a target of creating 22,000 new jobs for this year.
Yeah. Of course, we really hope that we are able to meet that target. Thank you so much for speaking to us. Reshni Singh, the CEO of BPESA, which is the Business Processing Enabling South Africa, speaking to us from Umhlanga in KZN, where she is attending the GBS Investor Conference, talking about creating opportunities for young people in contact centers and entering the global business service market.